A tweet by Donald Trump was really a key focus at the hearing just over here today. He sent many of them. This one in particular was from December the 19th, sent in the early hours of that morning. He said that there would be a big protest in D.C. on January the 6th. Be there, it will be wild, the tweet said. The committee presented evidence today, they say, which proves that that essentially was a rallying cry, not only to Donald Trump's supporters, but to far-right militia groups who started mobilizing. They saw themselves as summoned, the committee said, by that tweet. We were played a number of excerpts of far-right podcasts where people said, okay, you know, he's given us the nod now. We need to start mobilizing. One group, Women for Trump, they changed the date of a planned rally immediately from later in January 2020 to January the 6th. So what the committee was trying to argue today with the evidence presented was that there was a direct link between that tweet from December the 19th and the events of January 6th when that angry mob stormed the US Capitol here. Now, we also heard, Lisa, from a couple of witnesses. One was a former member of the Oath Keepers, one of the groups which has since been charged with seditious conspiracy in relation to the events of January 6th. He said absolutely that he thought the leader of that group would have seen that as a nod to him. It has to be said that the man who spoke today, Jason Van Tatenhove, has not been affiliated with the group for several years. And we also heard from a man who has been charged and has pled guilty to disorderly and disruptive behaviour over the events of January 6th. He was one of the mob who came to the Capitol and entered the Capitol. He said he did that because he went to Donald Trump's rally and he saw Donald Trump as giving him the instruction, as riling him up and telling him to go to the Capitol. But Lisa, it wasn't so much what that man said, but what he did at the very end of this hearing that was really a very, very powerful moment today. As he was led out of the room, he went over to a couple of Capitol policemen, one of whom is no longer able to work because of the injuries he sustained on January 6th. He hugged them. He whispered words to them. I'm not sure yet whether those were words of comfort or perhaps an apology. It appeared to be a heartfelt moment. It lasted for some time, and you could certainly really feel the tension in that room as everyone focused on that moment, perhaps, of some kind of reconciliation between these two actors from the January 6th riot.
Barbara, it's all just so extraordinary, but it struck me that the evidence just seems to keep adding to this imagery of a White House in chaos.
Absolutely. Well, this tweet from December the 19th was sent after a very, very long meeting on December the 18th at the White House. This was when some outside advisors to the president, they include the lawyer Sidney Powell, the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, and Rudy Giuliani, turned up at the White House, kind of talked their way in, and were trying to convince the president that the election was stolen, that he should continue to fight that. A plan was hatched, an order drawn up for the federal government to seize voting machines. This is on December the 18th. After that election has been certified by the Electoral College, and this plan was drawn up. We heard for the first time in some excerpts from some testimony just taken a few days ago from Pat Cipollone, a former White House counsel. He was asked, Lisa, what he thought when he heard of the plan to seize voting machines.
To have the federal government seize voting machines, that's a terrible idea for the country. That's not how we do things in the United States. There's no legal authority to do that. And there is a way to contest elections, that happens all the time. But the idea that the federal government could come in and seize election machines, I don't understand why we even have to tell you why that's a bad idea for the country. It's a terrible idea.
Now, the January 6th committee, as we've come to know them, is certainly very media savvy. So the hearing also ended with a tease to next week's hearing. We don't have a firm date for that yet, but they're promising more of those excerpts from Pat Cipollone. We'll see more of that next week. And in the words of Jamie Raskin, committee member, this will be a moment of reckoning, he said, next week. So looks like another interesting hearing ahead after today's, the 7th in this series.
Yeah, pretty extraordinary. Barbara, thank you.